Hello, everyone. This is Mayor Shawyn Patterson Howard. Welcome to Sundays with Shawyn. We are excited tonight to have a group of very, very committed employees of our Department of Public Works with us. As there's been lots of conversation over the past few weeks about the sewers and sewers backing up and people experiencing raw sewage in their basements and the basements of their businesses, their homes. And we're bringing to you tonight some of the staff that is out there doing that work, those that have boots on the ground, that are responding to these emergency calls and trying to maintain a very aging sewer system. We also have some of our sanitation team from DPW, the Department of Public Works, with us as well. We know we have a snowstorm coming. It's coming in a little earlier than we thought. We see some snow starting to stick, and they are mobilizing and getting ready to go out there to make sure that our streets are safe. So we're asking you right now that you please take a moment and that you stop and share this video, We want to be able to update people so that you can have the facts and real information on what's happening with our sewers, as well as know how we are preparing to address this very serious storm that is coming our way. So if you could pull back so we could see everyone on the screen, Malcolm. So tonight we have joining us, we're going to start out with our Commissioner of Public Works, Mr. Damani Bush. And then we also have our sewer foreman, our emergency sewer foreman, Mr. Ramon Bennett. He's been with DPW for 21 years, as well as Bobby Lewis has also been with DPW for 21 years. And then over in the sanitation area, we have Dwayne Jones, and Dwayne Jones is a sanitation foreman. He's been with DPW for 25 years. And we also have Mr. Lamont Radcliffe. He's been with DPW in sanitation. He's one of our senior sanitation workers as well. And he's been with DPW for 20 years. We also have joining us tonight my wonderful partner in government, Mr. Derek Thompson, who serves as the councilman. We came in together. Everyone, please excuse me. I've been out in the cold with the sewer crews, and I've got a little head cold now and lots of sniffles. So excuse me as I keep wiping, but I have a little head cold tonight. But we want to move forward. So we're going to ask our DPW Commissioner Damani Bush to kind of give us an overview of what's happening right now with the sewers and just help people understand where we are with our sewers, what's the history, and where are we going with this issue.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Just to touch on our sewers, I've been understanding this a lot more now lately, but our sewer system dates back to almost 100 years old. So with that said, over time, as anything, it all starts to deteriorate. So right now we're at that breaking point where, throughout our streets, the infrastructure is beginning to crumble. Not even beginning, it's really starting to deteriorate everywhere throughout the city. One of the things that people have to understand too is over the years, our population always states that we're at about 68,000, but really we're about 100,000. So with that said is the more people in the community and in the city, it involves more wear and tear on our system. Over the years, I've noticed it as well. There has been a major lack of reinvestment into our infrastructure. It's always been this kick the can down the road motto and put a Band-Aid on it and we'll worry about it later. But right now, all of those, temporary solutions are coming back to kick us right now. So we've been trying to deal with it as much as we can. I want to start off by thanking Westchester County for assisting us over the past 48 hours and sending in some additional help to work on the 3rd Street borehole, which is a major issue. So for instance, the 3rd Street borehole dates back to 1932 when it was installed. And this is a 100-foot chamber that is beneath our streets. It has two 24-inch lines, which ties into a 10-inch line, and then drops about another 60 feet below our surface of our streets. So that is something that is just way out of our purview. That's not something that, we deal with on a daily basis. We've been trying to maintain it. We've been doing everything we can with what we have, but it comes to a point where it's just only so much we can do. And the sewer crew, they can speak a little bit more about it. But in terms of the whole city, if you look around the streets, you see a lot of the potholes, and you'll notice that it's just a pothole, but some of them, they become sinkholes now. So, and that's due to the deteriorating infrastructure beneath the street. So, it's a combining problem that we are addressing. As you all know, we have the EPA consent order that we're dealing with as well. And they've mandated some tasks that we have to complete. And we've been working diligently throughout the past 6 months just to get these things done. And we've made some very good progress. We still have a lot of work to do, but we're doing what we got to do. And it's tough, but we're getting there. It's slowly but surely.
So one of the things that I think it's important that the listeners know and understand is that while we have an aging infrastructure of 100 years, that a lot of what we're seeing is not new. The EPA started contacting Mount Vernon as early as 2003 about wastewaters that were going out into the reservoirs and the rivers of the Long Island Sound, as well as the Bronx River, that were impacting our surrounding communities' drinking water. We've had these issues going on for a long time. As you said, we are seeing not just potholes, but we're seeing sinkholes. And that means that the storm lines and the sanitary sewer lines and other pieces of infrastructure under the ground are shifting and giving way. And so you're seeing increasing sinkholes in the street. Everyone is asking about fixing potholes. We have about $2.7 million in the state to fix our potholes and to repave. But that money's being held up because there are some bills from 2018 that we have not paid. And so that money cannot be released. That is a challenge. But even above the potholes, even above the bumpy streets, it's the condition of what's under our streets. And if we do not work with our state and federal government partners to secure some very serious funding, the very infrastructure of our streets are at risk. And so if streets collapse, and they're collapsing on sewer lines and sanitary water lines, that's even a bigger issue than some of the things that we're seeing on the surface. So Damani, you brushed really quickly by the whole EPA consent decree, but as you stated, we've been under that consent decree for a while, but it's really since August, since you became commissioner, that you finished about 80% of the most critical projects. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. Well, I do give a lot of credit to our sewer team. They've been working at this from day one to comply. Unfortunately, like I said, they do what they can with what they have. But yeah, over the past 6 months, I said, well, let's buckle down, let's take this serious and really fix it once and for all. Let's not, let's stop with the Band-Aids and just figuring out temporary solutions. Let's permanently rectify the issues. So we've been making a lot of progress, and we still have a lot of work to do. It's not to say that, we're all done and everything's okay. We still have a lot of work to do, but over the past 6 months, we've been really going hard at it. And I gotta give a lot of credit to the sewer crew because they've been adamant about it every day.
So with that being said, I want to kind of bring in Ramon Bennett. Ramon Bennett is our sewer crew foreman. So Ramon, as I stated, has been with DPW for 21 years. That's him in the red jacket. And he and Bobby are dark right now. And that's because they are out there on the scene since they have been out there since probably about 7 o'clock this morning. They are still working to address some of these critical issues that we're having right now. So Ramon, can you, tell us about the work that you're doing? Let us know some of the major challenges that you've had, the concerns that you have. How are you working through some of these frustrations and challenges?
Hello, everyone. How you doing? I'm out here right now. We're still on the scene where we set the pump in front of 70 West 3rd. Um, I'm gonna broadcast some good news. Actually, it's actually getting down to where we may have relief on the 11th Avenue and the 6th Avenue side. We've been checking the manholes, and it looked like we may be free right now of sewer backups going into these homes on this end. That's a relief of good news for our homeowners right now. Hello?
Yes, we hear you,
Oh, sorry.
Ramon.
All right. Yeah, the pump is in the back is very loud. All right. But as far as what we're running into right now, besides sewers and stuff, we're going to end up running into issues where we're going to need a clamshell truck. Clamshell truck is where we take care of our catch basins. Catch basins are the grades on the curb, which collects the rainwater and brings it, to our storm lines, our mains. Right now, we've been without a clamshell truck for over maybe a year. We rent one before. We had it repossessed. We had it for
So
a
hold
few
on.
years.
You
Hmm.
said we had a clamshell truck, but it was repossessed?
Yes, we were renting one from a company called Jack Doheny, and it was repossessed. Uh, right now, we have nothing. What we're using right now is trying to use a vac truck, which we only I expressed. We have one vac truck. The vac truck is also our flusher truck, which take care of our main sewer lines. Using this vac truck uh, with jetting and also having to try to vac some of these catch basins are not working, because in the catch basins you have major stone, like everything is getting to its point to where it's falling apart. Basically, our catch basins, we have brickwork that's falling out. We actually need a clamshell truck. I'm sorry, I'm tripping on my words because I'm still out here and everything is breaking up over here on my end. I see choppy on my end.
No problem. So so basically, just to kind of summarize what you said, you are over there on Third Street, and we know from 7th Avenue to about 14th Avenue, we've been that's where that pump has been working and trying to make a difference. I was over there for a while today, and we saw how charged those manholes were. There was a lot of backup in the manholes. Some of what I've had the opportunity to see, and I thank you guys for allowing me to come along and kind of really just teaching me, because we're seeing a lot of grease in these manhole covers. And so pouring grease down your sink with some dish detergent and hot water does not mean when that grease gets into the sewer system that it doesn't congeal again. Flushable wipes, they say flushable, but if we don't have to flush them, don't flush them. Sanitary items, diapers, these are things that we should not be putting down in the toilet because they clog up our sanitary sewer system. And as our Commissioner Bush has said, it's already 100 years old. So we're really asking people to kind of change some of your habits and help us bring relief to our very old and our very overburdened and neglected sanitary sewer systems. We have a team out there that's working hard on them now, but for a long time, as Commissioner Bush said, there has not been the steady and consistent level of investment in our sanitary storm sewer network that we've needed, and we're just experiencing a backup. And especially with everyone home for COVID, we want to bring it over to Bobby. Mr. Lewis, who has also been with DPW for 21 years. Can you tell us, where are you right now and what's going on?
I am also on Third Street watching this pump. It actually ran out of gas, so we had to go stop what we were doing to get the gas, keep this thing going, so the people could actually use their toilets and bathrooms and what have you. But it's definitely a good look on our end, and I'm happy to be here to assist these people.
So you guys have been over there on Third Street now for at least 8 hours or more with this pump. People need to understand that this corridor serves Ebony Gardens, it serves Leicester Towers, and it serves that Third Street corridor from 7th to 14th Avenue. That's one of our most densely populated areas of the city. And if you were out there like I was, or if you drive by there, you're going to see a big 24-inch hose that is really pumping and sucking waste out of the sewer system and bringing relief to it. And when those systems get clogged, you're going to experience backups and clogs and inability to flush your toilet. And that's what several thousand of our residents are experiencing. Like I said, that's a densely populated area. So we have Miss Eileen Lampert, who's asking about Brookside and what's going on Brookside. Will the relief extend to Brookside? Now, I was over with you guys on Brookside earlier, and we know that is a very serious, long-standing problem on Brookside. So how is Brookside looking right now?
But we also out there early this morning with assistance with the county. We had brought back a large amount of debris that we sucked out of there. That right there is a major issue that we've been having for years. It actually needs to be fixed, but right now we're doing the best what we have to get it running, and we usually go there and we pacify her and try to do the best that we can with what we have. So it's going to take some time, but we'll get it. We'll get it.
So, as you're hearing from the sewer crew, the issues that we're having with our sewers are longstanding and they are very complex. We don't necessarily have the proper equipment to do this. We also have partners that come in with heavy duty equipment to assist us, but several of them have not been paid since 2018, which makes it a challenge. So in 2019 and in 2020, some of the major flushing of the sewer systems that we've needed have not happened because our outside vendors, our partners that have the heavy duty equipment, have not come in for lack of payment. We owe one vendor $178,000. Another vendor $80,000, another vendor $42,950, another vendor almost $9,000. And it's very difficult in the middle of the night or on the weekend to call these vendors and ask them to come in and assist us when they have not been paid. People have said, well, didn't you buy equipment and don't you have a team? There's a difference between, renovating something and rebuilding something. Our team has the capacity to renovate, to fix, and to maintain. But when you're talking about a sewer system that is very old and has not been maintained, and given the proper level of service with the proper equipment, not that our staff doesn't have the capacity, they can go and work for some of these companies and make $150 an hour. But when they don't have the $500,000 trucks and equipment and pumps like the other companies have, it's much more difficult for them to keep up with the heavy load that we're experiencing here in Mount Vernon. And that's why it's necessary for us to have outside partners, because we just can't maintain that level of equipment here in Mount Vernon. So gentlemen, Ramon and Bobby, as I was out there talking to you, you guys told me that you're owed over 218 hours of overtime. You're owed over 218 hours of overtime, that you're coming out in the evenings, you're coming out on the weekends, and you're doing everything that you can to bring some level of relief to the residents until these issues can be fixed. How is this impacting your families? You're constantly having to leave your home, but then you're not getting a return on this. You're not getting your pay. Some of you have not been paid overtime since October. Is this correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Can you speak about that? Bobby, you're not shy, so let's not be shy tonight. You gave me an earful earlier.
November 7th, to be punctual. I haven't got paid from November 7th all the way to now. It's over 218 hours overtime and counting. But I'm still here showing up because I love what I do. I just love what I do. And, you would hate to, see somebody suffer because of somebody's negligence. So.
Well, we just had someone say just now, well, 218 hours, that's a lot of overtime. And Terry Ann, it actually is, but I can tell you that we have 5 guys out there today, and they've been out there for at least 12 hours. And while it might sound like a lot of overtime to families who can't flush their toilets, for families who cannot wash their clothes, wash their dishes, take showers, for families who are taking bodily waste out of their houses in buckets, and who are paying $20,000 and $30,000 a year in taxes, but they're living in third world conditions because of this aging sewer system. It's not a lot to them. So I know that if I walked downstairs and my basement was flooded with fecal material and sewage, that I would want someone to respond, and that I would want them to bring some type of relief to the situation, because it's not just an inconvenience, it becomes an issue of public health, and that you're putting your family's health at risk when you have unsafe and unsanitary conditions that are constantly flooding and interfering with your living. So we're not looking to give away overtime, but because of the can that's been kicked down the road for many, many years, this is where we are right now in our city, and we are doing everything we can through our incredible DPW workers who are often vilified and called names. Oh, okay, you said no, they're not being paid. That's a lot of overtime. Yeah, the fact that they're not being paid, that's very hard. But they still show up to work. They still show up to work. They show up to people's houses at 4 o'clock in the morning. I was out there with them last night. And they're pulling up manholes looking for backups and finding different ways to flush them and bring that relief to those families, that really improves their quality of life. I have had a backup in my toilet from time to time, but I've never not been able to use it or take a shower or do my laundry or do my dishes. And so that's really real. And guys, I want to thank you. I want you to know that we are working with the city council. We are working with some of our state representatives and our federal representatives to bring relief to you and make sure that your overtime is paid. We are working with your unions because we don't need to be sued for things that are indefensible as a city. We're not looking to give away money. We're not looking to have fraud, waste, and abuse. But at the same time, we are not looking to abuse our staff and go against labor laws, because I know you wouldn't want to show up to work and not be paid. And we cannot ask the same thing. We can't expect our staff to show up week after week, month after month, and not be paid, but expect them to provide the services. So it's a real challenge. And DPW, I just want to know that we appreciate you. We understand the job that you're doing, and you're out there in the cold. Y'all are sitting in the car right now because you're doing this Zoom with us, but you guys have been standing in the cold over pumps, over manholes that smell like death for hours and hours. I mean, it's hard to be on the block, let alone standing there and scooping out those manhole covers. It's so you're working under very, very hard conditions. It's mentally and emotionally draining. And I just want to let you know that the city of Mount Vernon and so many of our residents applaud you. The same residents that showed up at the city council meeting to complain are the same residents that showed up today with coffee and donuts and hot chocolate, to give you lots of praise for being out there and doing work. So thank you so much. We really, really appreciate you. And we're going to let you go from this piece and go back to do what you're doing. But stay warm, stay healthy, stay safe, and know that we have your back.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
so
Hit me
much.
up if y'all need something.
So I want to bring in our Councilman Thompson for a moment, because our Councilman Thompson was out there with them on Friday nights, going around and responding to some of these homes that are backed up. Yeah, you could show them. Yeah, Ramon, take them and show them the pump and walk over there so they can just see some of what we have set up.
It's unbelievable, man. When you hear about it, it's one thing, but when you actually get to see the conditions, it's another thing. Seeing what's in the basement of some people's homes, as well as seeing the work that these our workers have to do. And like I said, like you said earlier, they're doing this in the freezing cold. I went out there and I was only out there for maybe an hour, but this is what they do on a daily basis. And I know I couldn't do it, so I appreciate the work that they're doing. And we have to just do whatever is necessary to make sure that our city can fully function.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Councilman Thompson. Thank you for also being boots on the ground. I don't even believe that this is your committee, but it is your city. And because it's your city and these are your residents, you get up and you come out. And like I said, you put boots on the ground to gain an understanding of what's happening, not just taking calls, but when you get calls and I see you in your office every day, checking your email and your voicemail, and then you get up and you go out to check out sewer issues, fires, police scenes, and whatever other quality of life issues that people are bringing up. So thank you for your level of dedication. And even on Thursday, you sat there for the entire Board of Estimate public hearing, which you didn't have to do, but you did because you want to make sure that you're involved in the city. So as always, Councilman Thompson, thank you for being an incredible partner in government and know that you're appreciated. So we want to, before we go over to sanitation, Damani, Commissioner Bush, there's a question about the sewer plan. Is there a plan to fix the sewers? It seems like this is a temporary fix. Can the pumping happen on a schedule instead of having residents' basements filled with overflow?
Yeah, so right now, I mean, the number one plan for the sewers is completing all the mandated tasks by the EPA. They gave us an outlined schedule that we have to complete, so that's what we've been working on. In regards to the pump, what we actually did, and I think you could access the sewer crew as well. One thing I noticed is for years, we've never had our own bypass pump. And I never understood. I said, how do we function as a city? Like, this is not something that just happens once in a while. This is an everyday thing that happens. So it would be smart to invest in our own pump instead of calling on outside companies to help us. Let's invest in ourselves. And like I said, over the years, the city has been just penny wise and dollar foolish. They've been doing these temporary repairs, but right now we're taking it to the next level where I want to do permanent repairs. So right now, like I said, that the actual plan is to comply with the mandated tasks and the EPA consent order. And then after that, we have to do a full assessment of the city. You know, one of the things that I've said is people, they just bounce around. They would jump on this project and they jump on this project. No, let's take a step back and assess the city as a whole. Let's really just, see what's going on under there. So what we did was we purchased some new manhole inspection equipment, which we just received last week. And starting probably like in the next 2 weeks or so, we're going to begin just going through every line and assessing it to see the damage and the status of what the condition that's in. So then once we have that, we can have an overall capital plan to say, okay, we need this amount of linear footage repaired. We need this amount of linear footage relined. We need to make these point repairs. So then we can put it all together as a package instead of just doing these temporary repairs. So that's where we're at with it right now.
We can't hear you, Mayor. You're on mute.
Thank you. Thank you. Lisa Torr always has really good questions. And, one of the things that we've seen in Mount Vernon and we've experienced in this past year is that we are so in crisis mode that we're always playing whack-a-mole, whack-a-mole, whack-a-mole. Something pops up, we got to hit it, get it under control. Another thing pops up, we bring it under control. So while we have to respond to the crisis, as Commissioner Bush said, we also have to make sure that we have the equipment and supplies so that we can start to fully do an assessment of our entire sewer system, create a capital plan. The city of Mount Vernon has not had a capital projects board since 2010. We put the capital projects board back into place back in August 17th of 2020. And we are looking, if you know of anyone out there who's a civil engineer, or engineer or in construction and capital planning, please reach out to the mayor's office if you are interested in helping us to really rebuild the infrastructure and develop a capital plan. If you have someone that you know who works in the bond market, because as we finish our audits and we become eligible to really go back out for bonds, we're going to need bonds and a capital plan in order to address a lot of these challenges, whether it's our sewers, our bridges, our streets, the repair of our firehouses, the repair of our DPW yard, our police department / city court, our city hall facility, the Dole Center, the Armory. All of these are city-owned properties, and even our parks and playgrounds. And so we need to have a comprehensive capital plan and repair plan for the entire city of Mount Vernon. Yes, there is garbage pickup tomorrow. Is there garbage pickup tomorrow, Damani? Just want to make sure.
Yes, we'll be out there picking it up, along with clearing the snow. We'll be there.
So alternate side of the street parking is suspended, correct?
Yes, suspended
But
tomorrow.
we will be picking up garbage.
Yep, we'll be out there.
All righty. Thank you, Mary. Maureen, she says, thank you, Mayor Shawyn Patterson Howard. I live on Lawrence Street, and whenever the sewer on Columbus Avenue and California Road backs up, my sewer gets backed up. So yes, our team is out there really addressing those issues. We've been asked, what is the city's council's position on the sewer issue? Derek, would you, I'm sorry, Councilman Thompson, would you like to
I'm
answer
Derek.
that
I'm
question?
fine with that. I'm not a title crazy person. The city council is working collaboratively, trying to get everything done for the city. So as the issues arise, we're trying to get ahead of the ball. But everything costs money, so we're just trying to make sure we have everything in place so we can get everything done in a timely fashion. Like I said, it didn't happen overnight. It's not going to be fixed overnight. But as long as we're working together, I think that this will be resolved soon.
And like I said, I know just last week that the city council, at the request of our Commissioner Bush in my office, passed a city state of emergency, an emergency resolution, declared a state of emergency so that we could purchase that bypass pump. So the city council is working with our Commissioner Bush. Councilwoman Duarte, I believe, is the chair of that committee, and she's been working closely with Commissioner Bush and our office to get the things that we need for the pumps and the sewers right now. So I want to switch and change because everyone knows that we are expecting a major storm coming. And so we want to kind of get the city's plan and DPW's plan right now for responding to this storm. And so we're going to kick it over into the hands of our sanitation foreman, Dwayne Jones, as well as our sanitation supervisor or senior staffer, Lamont Radcliffe. I'm giving you all types of promotions right now without money. So Dwayne, can you unmute yourself?
I don't.
Well, there you go.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Can I just give you some information about the sewer crew, being that I was on that about 13 years ago? Can you hear me? I can't hear you all. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
We can hear you. We're
about
muted.
13, you noticed today that you saw about 5 men on the sewer crew. About 13 years ago, you had 10 and twice the amount of equipment to work with as far as clamshell, a rotter truck, flusher trucks, a van full of equipment to work. So these 5 guys are spread thin. You also had an evening shift where they handled some of they picked up some of the wire baskets and did sewer backups as well. I know because I was on that. So if you're wondering why the overtime is there, is because the manpower is not there to cover. And being on the sewer crew is a 24-hour job. And this time of year is the worst time of year for sewers. The soap and grease form rocks inside of the line. So that's why some of your backups take place. And it doesn't help with restaurants and homeowners pouring grease down the lines. That is the worst possible thing you can do this time of year. So just to point that out.
So can you say that again? Can you say that again for us? Because we continue to say that in the last 10, 15 years, the DPW staffing has been cut in half for a city that continues to grow. And then people say that there's overtime and there's fraud, waste, and abuse. No, what has happened is the city as expenses around medical and other things continue to raise each year, but we don't find new sources of revenue, the only way that we've been balancing the budget over the years is to continuously cut staff. And so we have more residents than ever, but yet we have almost half of the department, or what, we're operating at 60% of what the department was a few years ago, and doing far
It
more
feels
work.
like less, but you're probably right. It definitely feels. Ramon and Bobby can tell you because they were here and they worked with Mike Johnson, Stewart. I go back to James Gibbs. I go back to quite a few of the older jacks who trained me, and we had a large complement of men where we were even able to do some of the smaller backfills and sewer lines ourselves. But like you stated, because the population has grown, the sewer lines are very small compared to what nobody anticipated the population being what it is now. And so your antiquated sewer lines are not holding up to the population and the amount of sewage that they're collecting at this time. And Ramon and them, they're working hard. I mean, we used to, get a break from time to time, but I see them, they're working constantly and hard. They're out there and they don't have the manpower they actually need to accomplish their goals. So it's incredible that they get most of the work done that they do. I joke with Bobby every day about work and stuff like that, but I got to compliment them on, they're definitely, excuse me, busting their tails getting this stuff done. I talk to Ramon and Bobby constantly about calls I still get from homeowners who still call me after all these years. So it's incredible what they do, and I'm very impressed with their work ethic. Ramon stepped up incredibly and took over and runs everything, and his intelligence level on this subject is incredible. He's taking it to another level. So I gotta give him a lot of applause for what he does, really. And the fact that he deals with Bobby on a daily basis, that's a task in itself.
And just for the record, for those who like to stir crap, we called in some crews last night in an emergency situation. We called the county. The county reached out to their emergency services team, and they sent us help to bring relief. This does not mean that we are trying to privatize DPW. We are not trying to bump our guys out of jobs. We're not trying to bring in people to do the work that we know they can do, but we did need to bring in extra help and extra heavy duty equipment that we didn't have and we didn't possess to get it going. And so, like I said, these guys are out there, and they're doing the good work. And hopefully some of this help that you've received in the past, not even 24 hours yet, is going to bring you a little bit of relief and give you maybe a half a step forward to being able to wrestle this big challenge with the sewer. So we're not looking to replace you. We're not looking to privatize. We're not looking to outsource, but we were looking to give you some immediate relief, as well as bring immediate relief to some of our residents who were suffering and just couldn't stay in this situation. So again, thank you very much. And please know, as our population grows, one of the things that we are requiring and will be requiring even more of those who are investing and looking to build in the city is that they have to be a part of helping us to repair and replace and rebuild our sewer system, because we can't add more density without addressing the infrastructure to the city. So, anyone who's looking to do any building here will have to participate in what we call providing a community benefit. And a lot of that will be around rebuilding the infrastructure of our city and helping to improve our neighborhoods. So, Dwayne, we're going to go back to you in Lamont so that we can talk about what we're doing to prepare for the storm that's coming up, because we don't have we have about another 20 minutes in this show, and we want to make sure that people know what we're doing to prepare for this storm. So can we start talking about our storm plan a little, and how are we mobilizing to serve the community and keep them safe?
Okay. Let's see. The commissioner reached out earlier today, had us come in and discuss a game plan. So we're at war, and that's how we attack it. And we have things to do. So what's going to take place is your heavy MEOs who normally come in at 4 a.m., they're going to come in earlier today. As a matter of fact, they're probably there now. Your mechanics, at least half of them, the garage superintendent, the garage foreman, they're probably there now as well. If not, they'll be there shortly because the snow came in sooner than we anticipated. They got to fit some of the trucks with chains. What we didn't want to do is leave garbage on the streets until Tuesday. So, because dealing with that, with the snow and the snow being on top of it is just horrible. We've had to do it before, but tomorrow our game plan is to get in as early as we can, get that garbage off the streets as early as we can, and then prepare for our evening shift, which would be sanitation, pitching in again, helping out. And when Ramon mentioned working on Christmas, these guys are out there on Saturdays and Sundays and on holidays, getting this trash off the streets and extra stops. And what happens is, because the schedules haven't really reached all the homeowners just as yet, a lot of homeowners don't know when holidays are, what holidays were off, in all honesty. So you have guys like Radcliffe helping me to coordinate trash pickup. And when they come in, they're not just getting wire baskets. They're getting all this, they try to pick up the business areas. There's a lot of garbage out on the streets. So we need to get these schedules out to these homeowners so they know. And then lately, there's been a large number of buildings and store owners just putting the garbage out anytime they feel like it. And therein lies your other problem, your quality of life, rats and stuff like that. So we got a large problem, which we're attempting to address. The commission came up with a game plan to have a town hall, meet with all the residents and the store owners to give them some idea of what we operate and what we do. Getting back to the storm, and the fact that these men, the 24s, we call them, have been working constantly through storms, through holidays, double days of garbage. They've probably more than tripled their workload. We used to do 2 loads. Now they're doing 3 in a piece. The tonnage, as the commissioner touched on before, is incredible based on the COVID and people being home. We're just doing more work. So the fact that we're doing this work and these guys show up for me every day. So what we've attempted to do was a little relief with some extra men and some extra trucks. But for the most part, the 24 is doing the work. And I got to give them credit because they just keep coming. And no one has received their like Lamont is an MEO. He hasn't received his MEO stipend. The mechanics haven't received their stipend for the extra classes they've taken. Some guys haven't received their steps. So if you've reached your 5-year point, you are entitled to more money, more of an hourly wage. They haven't gotten that. And to top that off, you have guys who haven't taken a sick day. They worked through the pandemic. No one's taken a sick time. Everybody's attendance has been excellent for 2020. To be told that no sick pay. There's an added advantage by not taking any sick time. You get a sick check by the 15th of January normally. That hasn't shown up. Couple that with the overtime, and we keep asking for these guys for more. Now we take it to where there could be possible layoffs and or furloughs from a department that has no more to give. I don't know. It's incredible. I'm sitting here amazed that these guys are gonna work with us. Their hearts are huge, and I'm just completely impressed with them. On top of that, I want to get out the stigma I just heard on Facebook about there being drunks and drug addicts and jailbirds working in this department. Let me let you know, anyone listening, that is incredibly wrong. I've got good men, fathers, brothers, college educated, and incredible all around good brothers. I know that because 2 weeks ago I buried my grandmother, excuse me, and everybody in the department came out to show nothing but love, and it touched me more than they know. This is a brotherhood we have here. This is why we keep coming. This is why we keep showing up. And I'm getting tired of the stigma. I break bread with these brothers every day, and I'm proud of them more than anyone would know. Just to get that out there. I'm gonna let Lamont touch on some things, and I'll come back if I have time. But go ahead, Lamont.
Good evening, everyone.
Can I just make a point while you said that, because that is the constant thing. Oh, the only way that you could work for DPW is if you have a criminal record. Are there some people in DPW or other departments within our city who've had issues with the criminal justice system in the past, or have, you know, involved in activities that were otherwise not above board? Absolutely. These are urban communities. But that does not make them terrible people. That does not make them people that do not deserve a second chance. We have people who are in Congress who've been convicted of crimes, and they
I
are
was
leading our
just about to
company.
say that.
So please don't tell me that someone who has been convicted of a crime, who has served their time or their probation or their parole, do not have an opportunity to work. And no, you don't require a record to work in DPW, but also just because you have one does not mean that you would not be hired if you are doing the right thing. Would we rather see people being gainfully employed and able to take care of their families, or would we rather see them on a corner dealing dope? So that's the question. That, you know, we're not here to make excuses for people, but we're also not here to vilify people and tear people down because of decisions or activities that they might have been involved in the past. I'm looking at a lot of young men who are making great futures and who are making great careers for themselves working throughout our city. And in no way are we going to just continue to drag them and disrespect them. So please send all the robocalls around that you want to send around. Continue to say things, but when your sewer's back up, and when you need your garbage picked up, and when you need your streets plowed, and when the parks and when trees are down and you need trees cut, and when you need things cleared and streets paved, you can always call on DPW and they show up, even when they're not appreciated and even when people don't respect the work that they do. So I'm going to get off my soapbox and I'm going to kick it over to you, Lamont. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good evening, all. First, I want to salute the sewer crew for stepping up to the plate and going out there, getting the job done, knowing that they're not going to be paid. Second, I want to salute the mechanics, the tree crew, the highway crew, the laborers, and all of my fellow colleagues, including sanitation. We're doing a tremendous job throughout this ordeal that we're dealing with. And we're just basically tired of everything that we're being put through. Like, no matter what, like garbage, I speak for garbage as a whole, for the 24 men that we do have. We've been here through COVID, no hazard pay, no days off, no stipends, you know, no contract, you know. So we've been getting the short end of the stick for many years. This hasn't just taken place. I'm glad that this is going public and the public is understanding and realizing what we do go through, because like coming into work, coming in, having to do overtime and knowing that you're not going to get paid is very, very frustrating. Like today was our day off, but we sat and met with my men, 24 men, to make sure that we come in and get these streets taken care of for the citizens of Mount Vernon, to make sure that it's safe enough for them to drive or whatever they need to do. Any ambulance routes, any fire truck routes, police routes, we're going to make sure we get them done. But at the end of the day, we're still not getting paid. We picked up 900 million pounds of garbage in 2020. It's a lot. It's a lot of garbage and that's a lot of wear and tear on these old trucks. So we perform miracles out there without the proper equipment, you know, and all we do is just demand the respect and the due diligence that we deserve. We're definitely most underpaid for the work that we do. And this is top 5, one of the dangerous jobs in the world. You know, like, so for the working conditions to be so poorly, and we all get the job done as a unit, is definitely a blessing to this city. So we need help, and that's why I'm here. I'm asking for the public's help on this, because without you guys, like, it's no us. We do this for you guys. Like, we get up every morning, bust our tail, no complaints, knowing that everything that's going on, but we still hold our heads up high. So I'm just pleading right now for the public's help. As far as the garbage, right? Like we definitely we have a big rat problem out there. It's one of the biggest in the world, I guess, because 2 weeks ago, someone called me. It was an unwrapped mattress. Now, can you imagine 2 or 3 rats coming out of the mattress when you go pick it up? Just imagine 25 to 30 rats coming out of one mattress that's unwrapped. And we can't pick that up. We have to be safe. You have to make sure everything is tied up properly, because we don't know when we're going to a can or when we're going to pick up somebody's garbage, what's in it. So, and we have to be mindful of that. So I'm pleading with you guys, just begging that we all work together and we come to some type of resolve to make this Mount Vernon a better place and get it right. And that's all I'm asking. And another thing, Article 6 in our contract states, if we work time and a half, we are supposed to be paid overtime money, and we have yet to be received any type of payment since November 7th.
November 6th.
November 6th.
November 6th.
Up until now. So please, we're begging you to bear with us and help us out. Thank you.
So Lamont, I just want to ask you a question because I want to humanize our staff for a minute. Can you tell me about your family? Are you married? Do you have kids?
Yes, I'm married. I'm married with three boys that drive me crazy.
How old are they?
My boys range from 15, 10, and 7. So, and like leaving them, like I don't even get a chance to play with my kids when it snows because I'm always out there on the job working. So I mean, like, and that's what I signed up for. So, but missing that to keep the city above water, I mean, I'm willing to do that. But at the end of the day, just knowing that I'm not going to be paid. Sometimes, yes, I do get the slack from my wife, but at the end of the day, she knows that I love my city, and I'll do anything to protect my city and to back my men as well.
Thank you so much. I mean, I really appreciate that. And as you said, everyone came in during COVID. Our staff was hit hard. DPW was hit hard with COVID. You talked about DPW, sanitation and working on the back of a truck is one of the top 5 most dangerous positions in the world. And I can tell you, with people rushing in the morning to try and drop off kids, trying to get to work, they get mad when DPW is pulling over to pick up garbage. But you have to give them time to pick up the garbage. If you know it's garbage day in your neighborhood, then get up early and make sure that you're getting to where you need to get to on time so that you're not mowing down our garbage men. We've had garbage men be hit on the back of the truck trying to pick up garbage. And then people want to complain that you're not putting the garbage cans back on the sidewalk. But at the same time, people are beeping at you in the street to move and get out of the way. The other thing that I want to say to our residents and to our business owners, you will be ticketed. And I am DPW, I'm giving you full permission as foreman and as staff to start writing tickets on these buildings, on these businesses, and on these homes that are not putting out their garbage properly or putting out their garbage early. We cannot complain about rats. We cannot complain about dirt in our city, but yet you're putting out your garbage 2 days before garbage day. This goes especially for the apartment buildings all throughout the city. These apartment building owners feel that they're exempt, and they're not exempt. Hire the proper amount of staff. Make sure that you're packaging your garbage properly. The same thing for businesses. There's a deli on Gramerton Avenue, and as I drove by that deli today, I was disgusted at the amount of boxes that they had just thrown out in front of the store. Those boxes should be collapsed. They should be bound together, and they should be put out so that you could pick them up easily. That's for their staff to do on the inside of the store before they put that garbage out, not for you to go rummaging through their garbage and putting it on the truck. When you come through these neighborhoods, you're trying to come through, pick up the garbage, pick up the rubbish, and pick up the recycling and move on. You don't have time to organize people's trash. So please have respect when you put your trash out, put it out properly so that they can move expeditiously through the neighborhood and do the next thing that they have to do. They shouldn't be cleaning up behind you. They are garbage pickup, not garbage organization and pickup. So please, Foreman, we're not trying to fill our budget holes, but we are trying to let people in the city of Mount Vernon that we can't do business as usual and just expect DPW to work miracles. If they are violating the rules of how they're supposed to put their garbage out, then give them a ticket, because sometimes the best education is enforcement. We can keep saying that we're going to enforce the rules, but if we don't enforce the rules, then people will never learn and they will continue to complain. So we are at the end of the show. If everyone can kind of just give a 30-second wrap up. Please, if you don't have to be on the roads as you see this storm coming, please stay off the roads. And we are begging and pleading with you as you are digging your cars out. Do not just throw the snow back in the middle of the street that we've been plowing and then act as if we didn't come down your block. If everyone would take your snow and put it on your and if you put it on your lawn or something like that, instead of just pitching it back into the street, then we can keep our streets clear. So we're going to start with the sewer crew. Any closing words? We got to unmute them, Mom.
Like I said, we still out here. We're for the people. We're trying to make sure everything is clear on our end. As you see, I'm a little busy because everything is out here is starting to snow. The visibility is starting to mess up a little bit right now. So we just want to try to keep this pump safe and make sure it's running correctly. But like I said, it is working on our end. Stay safe. Stay safe. Thank you.
Any closing words, Councilman Thompson?
Yes, I just want to tell our workers thank you so much, and to our residents out there, when you pass our DPW workers or our cleanup men in any capacity, just tell them thank you, because I know it would be very difficult for me to show up to my job and I've worked hours that I wasn't paid for. So just tell them thank you, and be mindful of what you put out for your trash days. Be mindful of what you throw in your toilet, because it's going to end up damaging our city. So just be mindful of what you're doing in your house and outside your house, and let's keep our city clean together, because we can only get better together. Thank you.
Commissioner Bush, would you like to close us out?
Sure, no problem. First, I just want to say, salute to all my guys. Back in August when I took this position, I knew there were a lot of challenges ahead. But one of the things that made me really dive in and get to work was the love and respect that I have for these men. During my 12-year tenure here, I've seen how they've been mistreated, just disrespected, just not, being taken serious. And I said, one thing I want to do is I want to fight for the respect of my guys again. Because like I said, I love and respect everything that they do. And I'll go on the record and say that we have the best DPW in the county, if not the state, because we do the most with the less. And it's hard sometimes, it's frustrating, and especially we've got all of these financial challenges to build a better department. And sometimes I even get frustrated. And I love the fact that they stick it out and they still do it for the residents. The bottom line is we do it for the people. It's not a political game. It's none of that. This is hard work, manual labor that these guys are doing every day. Whether it's 100 degrees out or right now when it's snowing, it's a blizzard, they're out there getting it done. So the people have to respect that. And, I love the fact that they just go out there and fight for it every day, because these residents are our families. So the fact that they just continue to do it over and over, despite the challenges and the frustration, they get it done. And I said that all I want to do is just lead them the right way, and I felt like over the years, they haven't been lead as much as they should have been. They've had some challenges, and a lot of things that I'm dealing with. It's 30-year-old problems, 50-year-old problems, but like I said, the buck stops here. We're not kicking this can down the road any longer. We're solving these problems for good, and we're going to start rebuilding our foundation to rebuild a better Mount Vernon. And that's the goal that we have at hand. And we're going to keep fighting every day.
So thank you, everyone. Stay safe. Have a good night. Make sure you check in on your loved ones and your relatives, and please continue to pray for our homeless. And everyone, be safe. God bless, and have a good night. Be well.